Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us in big numbers from all parts of the world for this international event on the importance of building partnerships to cultivate a culture of media and information literacy for all and by all. Organized by UNESCO, the UNESCO University Network on Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue, Moulay Ismail of University of Meknes in Morocco, and the International Steering Committee for members of the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance in commemoration of Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2023. A warm welcome to the distinguished speakers, my colleagues from the UNESCO University Network on Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue, and my colleague from the Media and Information Literacy Alliance. I am Dr. Drissia Chouit, Professor of Comparative Linguistics, Communication and Media Studies at Moulay Ismail University. I'm the co-chair of Media and Information Literacy Alliance and an active member of UNESCO MILID University Network. I have the honor to co-moderate this very important panel with my colleague, Dr. Alton Grizzle, UNESCO Program Specialist in the Communication and Information. Before giving the floor to him, let me introduce him briefly. Dr. Alton Grizzle is a happily married husband, father, and person who loves and respects all peoples. He works at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris as program specialist in communication and information. He coordinates UNESCO's global actions on media and information literacy and is a formal focal point on gender and media. He is a trained teacher and holds an MSc in computer-based management information systems from the University of West Indies, MA in Media and Communication from the University of Lancaster, UK, and a Ph.D. in Communication and Journalism from the Autonomous University of Barcelona in Spain. I give now the floor to Alton. Alton, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Drissia. I certainly wasn't expecting that introduction at all. You know, UNESCO is very pleased to be partnering with your university, the Ismail University, but all the members of the MILID network. This network is a flagship network for UNESCO. And we have you to thank for that, for your commitment, long-standing commitment for many years. We have so many of you connected social scientists and social practitioners, and I think it's quite appropriate to be talking about cultivating a culture of media and information literacy, to have such eclectic group from different regions of the world, different disciplines, experiences, cultures, and background. I will not say much more than to welcome all the listeners to this family gathering. You will receive and experience a melting pot of knowledge on media and information literacy from our partners who are connected. And just before we proceed and before we hear from them, we have a short video that I'd like to play from the Assistant Director General of UNESCO, Mr. Tawfiq Jalasi.
I am delighted to be with you to celebrate the 2023 Global Media and Information Literacy Week. In an era of instant communication and advanced globalization, information is no longer constrained by temporal or geographical boundaries. While this brings new opportunities to advance the dissemination of democratic ideals and the diversity of cultural expressions, it also comes with new challenges. The spread of rumors and distorted facts puts lives at risk, fueling propaganda and hate speech. That is why media and information literacy is an essential set of competencies for our time. The new generation of digital citizens, especially the youth, should be empowered with the skills to critically evaluate and verify information, act with empathy, take action to prevent violent extremism, and promote dialogue, tolerance, and human rights. In this view, media and information literacy is key to ensure progress towards the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We celebrate the Global Media and Information Literacy Week to bring its importance to the world's attention. The theme selected for this year is Media and Information Literacy in Digital Spaces, a Collective Global Agenda. It sends a strong message that we all must be part of the solution to ensure safe and inclusive online spaces. Dear friends, colleagues, and partners, I am very pleased that events are being organized around the world to celebrate the Media and Information Literacy Week by UNESCO field offices, by universities, schools, youth organizations, media, NGOs, influencers, and others. Your efforts are crucial to ensure that media and information literacy becomes a reality on the ground. At UNESCO, we work every day to strengthen the capacities of policymakers, educators, information and media professionals, youth organizations, and disadvantaged groups to empower them through media and information literacy. We also assist member states in formulating national media and information literacy policies and strategies. It is by connecting our individual efforts that we can achieve greater success in realizing the vision of media and information literacy for all. I wish you all a successful celebration of the 2023 Global Media and Information Literacy Week.
Thank you very much, Alton, for sharing this. On behalf of the distinguished speakers in this international event and on behalf of all members of UNESCO University Network on Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue, and on behalf of all members of UNESCO Media Information Literacy Alliance, I express our sincere thanks for this Global Media and Information Literacy Week video message from Dr. Tawfiq Jalassi, Assistant Director General for Communication and Information. This event, in fact, was to take place in a hybrid format in Jordan, Amman, but was moved fully online due to security reasons. Alton, please transmit our sincere thanks to Mr. Director General, Assistant Director General of UNESCO. Back to you, Alton.
No, thank you so much again, Drissia. As our Assistant Director General said, it's by linking up, our efforts and our expertise and resources around the world that we will achieve media and information literacy for all. And UNESCO can attest again that you, the panelists who are here as partners, you are part of the solution, as our Assistant Director General pointed out, and certainly many of the other partners who were connected and listening. So with this, I hand back over to you, Drissia, to introduce the first or two speakers so that they can enlighten us on their experiences in collaborating to push for media and information literacy, their ideas and practices around cultivating a culture of media and information literacy, And finally, what are their recommendations for good practices that can be scaled up at the national, regional, and international level? So back to you, Drissia.
Thank you, Alton. Well, the first speaker is Professor José Manuel Pérez Tornero from University from Spain. He is the coordinator of UNESCO UNITWIN Cooperation Program on Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue. He is the director of the UNESCO Chair in Media and Information Literacy and Quality Journalism, and he is a full professor at the Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona, Spain. He was the former president of Spanish Audiovisual Public Service Radio Television in Spain. It's a great pleasure to have you with us, Professor. The floor is yours. You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry, I said that it's a great pleasure for me to come back to the family, to the global family of media and information literacy after other tasks I have had during the last years. But I am very, very convinced that media and information literacy is more important than ever. I was reading a book of Amin Malouf saying that we are in the more dangerous time of the history. And look at the media. And there is a war on Ukraine. There is a war in Yemen, in Palestine and Israel. There is very, very big problems in Africa. There is a very fragmented situation around the world. And we have populist discourses, we have problems with democracy, with human rights, and this is because we are not able to be in balance with the technology we have in our world. We have open and advanced society of information society, with global media of communicating, but we are promoting hate speech, aggressive discourse, and we are not able to build the peace. We are not able to create a kind of peace in the soul. And then I would like to explain my perspective in this context, what is the new challenge for media and information literacy? Media information literacy, you know, it's a modern discipline, but we have at least 75 years of existence. If I would like to describe the evolution during this time. The initial time of media literacy was after the Second World War. If you remember, or you can think about this time, the force of media literacy was at this time to be against the propaganda and the aggressive political during the time of the war. And then the first media and information literacy was concentrated on criticism of propaganda discourse, denouncing the language of hate and the discrimination of people. After that, during the years from 60 to 18, the television came and the new consumer society create a new scenario for media literacy. And then the media literacy was focused on promoting a kind of criticism in relation with marketing, communication, advertising. It was the first time that into the school, media literacy was able to include some lesson against the advertising or demanding a critical thinking against the consumerism. Defending always the autonomy of the people and the autonomy of the children. But always media and information literacy has evaluated in relationship with the evolution of the media. And in the 99, excuse me.
Sorry to interrupt you, José Manuel. You have 4 minutes left. If you could please talk about the partnerships and how to expand the reach of media information literacy for all. I'm so sorry for interrupting you.
No, I will speak, but I would like to finish my evolution about that. Today we had a very big problem with the development of social media and development of internet and artificial intelligence. But we have at the same time the same problem we had at the end of the Second World. We have hate speech, we have the weakness of democracy, and then we need a new challenge, a new framework for media and information literacy. It's not enough to defend only the critical thinking. I think we must lead the promotion of democracy, the promotion of peace, and against disinformation, and taking the advantage of artificial intelligence to create another global and equal forum of communication. That, for talking about how we can advance, I would like to promote a new global agenda on research. I think our UniTwin network must be concentrated in creating a new answer to the new challenges we have. And I would like to describe some of these challenges. For me, the first one is to build the peace through the language and media. How, through media and information literacy, we can create possibility to the peace. The second one is to answer the new advances of artificial intelligence. The second one will be to create a new scenario with the new situation post-pandemic in relation with teleworking, as telelearning, learning online, etc., because we have the possibility to create new skills and new competencies. But finally, I would like to ask all of you to renew the concept we have using, and to focus on the necessity to create an answer to the global crisis we are living. A global crisis that is economical, because the inequity among people. Second one is in relation with the climate change. And third, and the most important, the conflict and where we are living today. I feel that we have a very hard mission to contribute to solve this all kinds of problem. Thank you, Drissia.
Thank you very much, Professor José Manuel. In fact, yes, hate speech, the ever-permanent enemy that we should eliminate. And it is true that we should create a new, fully agree, new global agenda on research related to policies, so that we can impact and we can make change in the world using language, communication, and media and information literacy. Back to Alton to introduce the next speaker.
Our next speaker in the lineup is Professor Esther Hamburger. Let me just share with you a little bit about her background. Again, you will see the diversity of expertise. Professor Esther Hamburger is a full professor of history of film, television, and audiovisual media at the School of Communication and Arts of the University of Sao Paulo. You just heard a little bit of the history of media and information literacy earlier. She's currently a sabbatical fellow at the Institute of Advanced Studies at the university and member of the UNESCO UNITWIN Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue University Network. She was a Ph.D. in anthropology from the University of Chicago, where her work explores the intersection of culture, cinema, and media studies. Wow. And has appeared in a range of book collections. So we are happy to have you, Esther, and so the floor is yours for 7 minutes to add to the experiences of Professor José Manuel, coming from World War 75 years ago, World War II, and back to today, faced the challenges with digital technologies. He proposed a global media and information literacy research agenda in response to global challenges and opportunities. The floor is yours, Esther, to build on that. Are you there?
Sorry. Thank you very much for this introduction, Alton. I'm very glad to be here with everybody. I think media and information literacy has grown and turned more important since 2011 when we first met. And this is, I believe, true in the world, and it's true in Brazil too. So since we don't have much time, I will jump to my presentation, and I know I won't be able to share with you the clips from films that I plan to, but I will show the links so that people who are interested can go and look at the clips. I think speaking about agenda, I think we jumped to another moment after the pandemic in Brazil. So I believe our challenge now is to demystify digital technology over what happened in Brazil is that we had an enormous advance in MILID, and Alexander's gonna talk, and we can hear also from him. We have a lot of possibilities now, including the inclusion of MILID in this public schools agenda, which will be a great advancement for us. We have both formal and informal MILID programs in schools. We have had an inclusion, an immense inclusion. And when we talk about the field of the producers of media and film, in which I work directly as a professor of future filmmakers and television and digital media makers, we had an immense advancement due to the law of quotas. It's in place for 10 years now. We have like a much diverse body of students in terms of color, and this includes indigenous people. Nowadays, at the University of São Paulo, we were slower to start this, but we already have 50% of students coming from public schools in Brazil, which is a very unequal society. This is a big change. We have an explosion of productions made by women, by indigenous, by Blacks, and by people coming from popular neighborhoods from different regions of the country, many times first family members to reach a university education. I'm telling you this because just to attest that MILID has increased a lot, and to justify my proposition that we move to another stage, and that is a stage of diminishing our and our students' alienation about the process of producing and circulating digital media. We still have a lot to go in terms of the professors. Professors are mainly white. I don't know if you can see this here, but it's 91% in a 2022 survey conducted by the Society of Film Schools. So professors are still 90% whites. And they don't say here how many women, but I believe it's a lot less than 50%. From my department, we are only like less than 10%. The result of this amazing explosion of productions coming from the outskirts, we have a diversity of productions, including Godzilla as an example of a very well-succeeded production company coming from the outskirts of the city of São Paulo that has had with YouTube an immense international visibility. And they now produce Netflix series. Besides having their very popular YouTube channel, you can verify them at this address. You have coming from the outskirts, Mars One, I'm sorry for the Portuguese title here, film production coming from the outskirts of Minas Gerais state, Filmes de Plástico, and they are university formed filmmakers, and they were Brazil's entrance to the Oscar last year. They didn't get it, but they managed to do a very popular film here. And it's very interesting as the main character is a boy who wants to be an astronaut rather than a soccer player. So you can see how fighting the stereotype gets to film production. And finally, as an example, we have this How to Breathe Out of the Water is a film produced by our students, Julia Favera and Vitória Negreiros, who at this short film is available at this site. And they managed to go to many festivals. They are both Black women students, and they made this great poetic film about diversity, both gender and race diversity. And the film got a lot of prizes and a lot of visibility in the chain of student festivals. Do you think I have a time for a very short clip by the indigenous community? It's a clip made by indigenous people and non-indigenous audiovisual makers.
Sorry, Esther, you have bypassed your time.
Esther,
I
we're going to
pass.
see if we can come back to it. I see Drissia waving her hand saying, no, we want to be fair to the other speakers
Yes,
who came
of
before.
course, of course.
So
Thank you
let's
very
see.
much, and sorry for the problems.
No, thank you. Thank you for your intervention, Esther. And hopefully we can try to come back to this video clip. It's of interest. But you have shared with us the importance of demystifying digital technology and digital production by making the links between technology, cinema, media, sounds, and images. You spoke about the changes in Brazil, where there is more an opportunity for MILID to be integrated in schools and in universities. You talk about the growth and the shift in digital production and distribution from more women and indigenous people, dealing with important issues around discrimination and diversity and racism. You also pointed out to the persistent challenges of diversity among professors at the university level, dealing with these issues around media and information literacy and media studies and so on. And then you ended, unfortunately, we didn't get to see your video, talking about different clips that were presented and prepared by indigenous group. We encourage everyone that is listening to see these. We'll share the links online. How to Breathe Out of Water, that was produced by indigenous Black woman. So we have intersectionality right there, a woman who is Black and indigenous. So we move very rapidly to our next speaker, all right? And then after that, my co-moderator, Professor Chouit will come back and introduce the other two speakers. So our next speaker is Professor Abdelhamid Nefisi. I hope I got that pronunciation correctly. And yes, and Professor Abdelhamid Nefisi is a full professor of media linguistics and translations, all right, of coordinator of the research field of media and information literacy in the Arab world at the Sidi Mohammed Ben Abdallah University in Fez, Morocco. In fact, we are happy to say that in terms of partnership, this MILID, the Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue University Network, was founded in Fez, Morocco in 2011. So this is the 12th anniversary of the MILID network. Professor Nfisi is a founding member of the MILID network. Voila, and he has, to his credit, over 20 publications and participation in international conferences, and over 100 supervision of PhD dissertations. So Professor Nfisi, the floor is yours for 7 minutes.
Thank you, Alton, for your kind words. Hi, everyone. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to Moulay Ismail University and UNESCO, represented by Drissia and Alton, for gathering members of the UNESCO MILID and the UNESCO MIL Alliance in the same panel to share thoughts and plans and promoting MIL in the world through building partnership. It is in fact a great opportunity for me to meet friends and colleagues I have been collaborating with for a decade, and to meet other male colleagues for the first time. The main topic of this panel, which is building partnership, is very important topic. What increase knowledge, expertise, and resources available to promote MIL in the world. My university, Sidi Mohammed bin Abdullah, built a strong partnership with Moulay Ismail University in the capacity of Professor Drissia. We work together since the first International Forum on Media and Information Literacy held in Fez, Morocco in 2011. Since then, we organized jointly many activities to raise students and teachers' awareness of the importance of MIL in their personal, educational, professional, and social life. Recently, since the appearance of COVID-19 and when the earthquake hit Morocco on 8 September, social media networks have become principal tools of spreading vast array of fake news, or what we call false information, misinformation, etc. And this large spread of misinformation or fake news also made MIL teaching a mass today to fight its devastating effects in Morocco, where MIL is in its beginning stages. Number two, we build a partnership with other institutions belonging to the two universities, such as faculties of law, engineering, Islamic studies, and technology. Because promoting MIL in these institutions is very complex, because these students lack critical thinking skills. This type of thinking will help them in many areas as they grow older in this social life, academic, professional, and even personal life. So there is an urgent need to integrate MIL in these institutions to help them become wiser users of information. The last partnership, we build a partnership with the civil society organization. This partnership is very essential because when academicians and agents of civil society work together, they complete each other. As academicians, we will give much importance to scientific research in many aspects of MIL, since while civil society associations foster MIL activities and training in formal and non-formal settings by focusing on the practical side of MIL. So building this type of relationships is very important way to expand our capacity and values to reach a wider audience. My conclusion is that while we should focus on building a partnership at the national level, we do need partnerships both at the regional and international levels to support our efforts in an environment where MIL is still in its beginning stages. In this regard, I am pleased to share that in celebration of Global MIL Week this year, we organized on 3rd October an international conference in Arabic on media and information literacy in the Arab world, which gathers experts in MIL in the Arab world, and we decided to create the Arab Network for Media and Information Literacy. We were about to start the administrative procedures to set up this network when the sudden war on Gaza started. So we're obliged to wait for better times. I am also highly pleased to announce that we have a bright prospects of cooperation with the Autonomous University of Barcelona and Professor José Manuel, both in scientific research, including joint supervision of PhD students in comparative studies in communication, media, and MIL, and in joint action for stronger mobilization for media and information literacy for all. In this regard, we decided to organize the second International Forum on Media and Information Literacy on 15 and 16 April 2024.
1 minute left, Abdelhamid.
Yes, with the collaboration of José Manuel from Spain and Alexander Loboisi Sayed from Brazil. Thank you. And I would like also to share that all the issues discussed by my colleague, my friend José Manuel, will be the concern of the second forum. Okay, because the world still witnesses many variables such as climate change, war, earthquake, hate speech, and it is an occasion for us to discuss, examine these issues in the next forum. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nfisi, for your intervention. You made some important points, in connection with partnerships, collaborations to advance media and information literacy for all, the importance of collaboration between academicians and civil society. You pointed out a need for making links between the formal environments on educating for male and the non-formal environment, the need to have national and regional cooperation, not just focusing on the national level. Soon when Alexandre Devoissy comes, he will talk about glocal, from global to local and local to global. All right, so you pointed that out, and then you ended by highlighting cooperation across the Arab states, addressing MIL through a linguistic perspective. You're a linguist professor, and so you have done work around MIL for the Arab world and setting up a network, an Arab network on media and information literacy. You also mentioned the importance of joint scientific research, connecting back to what Professor Manuel Tornero talked about, the need for a global media and information literacy research agenda. And then the upcoming second International Forum on Media and Information Literacy, which is going to be, did I get that correct? The second to the 3rd of April, 2024, is that correct?
No, 15, 16.
15th
April.
to 16th of
Yes, 2
April.
days. Yes.
Of 2024. So thank you so much for your intervention, and I turn the floor back over to Dr. Professor Chouit, who will then share with us and introduce the other two guest speakers.
Thank you, Alton. Our next speaker is Dr. Paulette Kerr. She serves as campus librarian at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica. Prior to her appointment in 2015, she was head of the Department of Library and Information Studies at the University of West Indies. Dr. Kerr's research interests coalesce around areas of information literacy and Jamaican social history. She represents the University of West Indies in the UNESCO University Network on Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue. She is a founding member, and she has coordinated MILID initiatives in Jamaica, within the Caribbean, and internationally. Dr. Paulette Kerr, the floor is yours. We are very happy to have you with us.
Paula, you are on mute.
So sorry about that. Thanks, Cherry. I was there giving a speech. Thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity to share. I was sharing that we're having severe rains, and so it created a little challenge with my getting on in real time. So I wanted to share a few initiatives from the University of the West Indies. And one of the things that we decided very, very early is that we're going to be very intentional about media and information literacy and how we ensure that, especially for our students, I think our students and our faculty still have the, you know, what is needed. So what we have done is this year, especially in the library, we started something that we called Relate to Academic Success, which is really the role of our library ensuring that the media and information literacy skills are so entrenched that anywhere within our university or students will have access to those. So we're working with our professors, and we're also working with outside of the classroom environment because we are so intentional about this Relay for Success. So you will see that we actually have some of our librarians who are going into halls of residence and working with students. And they're also going outside of the classroom. So just wanted to say that we are intentional, not necessarily on a global scale, but certainly within the university, partnering for academic success for our students. So some of the things that we really are intentional about is that we decided that our librarians should be updated with competencies to embed MIL within all aspects of the curriculum. So we actually had, at the end of the last academic year, we partnered with the University of Sheffield to have our librarians being trained in what we call embedded librarianship, so that it is not a standalone situation that we have where media and information literacy is existing on its own, but it's embedded within the courses. So all our liaison librarians are now working with faculty members to ensure that MIL is embedded. We also have just rolled out an MOU with the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO, to ensure that some of our students who are in cultural and creative industries who are not coming in and getting the MIL, that we are partnering with them on matters of copyright too, but broader than copyright, really MIL competencies to ensure that these students would have the competencies. And we've also moved out to our high schools within our community, within the community. And you'll see that we have brought in high school students within the library to assist them with their IL competencies for their school-based projects. This is an assessment that is outside of the classroom where they have to build projects, and a lot of the students don't have the necessary competencies because they're in the high schools. We're not finding that although we have done so much within the high school, there's still the MIL competencies are lacking. So you will see that outside of the classroom, what we have done, and I mentioned it earlier, is that we've partnered with our student services managers within the halls of residence, and our librarians are actually going into the halls of residence to do something called research rescue, where they are meeting with the students where they are to ensure that if they didn't get into the formal programs with the faculty, we are still having them having these MIL competencies. So we're extremely intentional. And another thing that I wanted to share also was the Department of Library and Information Studies, because as you know, I started with the department, and the department is still also performing media and information literacy. What they are intentional about is that whatever is current, or graduates or students, librarians, and the profession must have these competencies. So just in the last academic year, what they did was to partner with the University Data Protection Office, because the data protection law is going to be rolled out in Jamaica, and therefore by December of this year, and therefore they thought it necessary to partner at that level for MIL competencies with their students as well as the profession. Also, in the summer, because of the whole, where AI is, and we feel that our information professionals should have that competence, knowledge, sensitivity about AI. The library school actually partnered with the Go School in Amsterdam to do an entire, I think it was 3 weeks of, three full days, sorry, of MIL instruction in AI. And so we thought that that was good. The one thing I wanted to focus on a little bit, and I know my time is going to be out, is partnering at the national level. And I know that Alton is very aware of this project coming out of the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, where with partnering with UNESCO and the UMONA School of Business, and of course I was part of that initial, the entire process. They involved, I was part of the stakeholders agreement, where we developed a digital media and information literacy skills framework, which is intended to address some of the information.
1 minute.
Thank you. The challenges that we have in Jamaica. This has been rolled out. It has worked for two years as they developed the framework and rolled out the instrument, piloted the instrument within the public sector. The report, the framework, is actually now before the government, because the intention is that this framework, it should really inform national policy. And I just spoke with the director of the Broadcasting Commission just yesterday, and he said it's far gone. That's Cordell Green. It's far gone, because it's before the government, so that this can be rolled out within the entire Jamaican community. So I think I'll stop there. We can flesh out other areas afterwards. My apologies that I didn't get a chance to include some of what was happening in the Caribbean. I think the timeline for me was very, very short, but we can always talk about these, what else is happening in the Caribbean. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Paulette. I think we can talk about these things in the discussion. You raised another important issue, which is the necessity to involve librarians and the important role that they should play in order to expand the reach of media and information literacy for all. I liked your intentional partnering, original, and assisting students not only in the classroom but also outside the classroom, partnering for national impact at the national level. This also is close to one of the elements stated by Abdel Hamid. Now we move to the next speaker, Sherry. Sherry Hope Culver. She serves as director of the Center for Media and Information Literacy at Temple University in the United States, where she is associate professor in the Klein College of Media and Communication. Her teaching focuses on media literacy with focus on media for children. She previously served as vice chair of UNESCO International Student Committee for the Global Media and Information Literacy Alliance. She is a Fulbright Global Scholar. Sherry, the floor is yours. We are happy to have you with us.
Thank you, Drissia. It's a pleasure to be with so many friends, even though we are not in person, and I'm always inspired listening to all of you. So I'm taking feverish notes as everybody is talking. I'm going to share my screen. Let's hope that this works. All right, let's make that full. Okay, it's kind of squunched there. So I'm going to try to keep track of time too, because I know we're all trying to have opportunities to talk. So this is thinking about the partnership concept, and I'm really interested in this notion of how our understanding and our awareness of MIL can actually change our thinking and behavior, so that the purpose of the partnerships is to make change, right? And we know we're living in a world that's way too polarized, and that I think we all believe that MIL is a path toward increased understanding. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. So I'm going to talk about a few partnerships that I've been a part of. Some of them are partnerships with students, some with colleagues, some that are more community-based, and some that focus on the industry. And I would say, just to begin, that my perspective on MIL is that it begins with children, that we can have projects, and we should have projects and partnerships that range with partners from different sectors and in different ages and different groups, but that our best opportunity to have a society that has MIL integrated is to begin with children as young as possible. So you'll see that lots of the work that I do is really focused on children. This first project that I'll just mention is the podcast that I do that's called Kids Talk Media. And I consider this a partnership with children. This is something that I do where I talk to two children, at least two children each time, child and their best friend, about their media use. And then the podcast is shared for free. It's a podcast that's used in classrooms and across higher education when people are teaching, professors teaching about children and media. But the conversation is directed by the children and topics that they are interested in. And I will just note that Alexander, who will be speaking immediately after me, his children have been interviewed on this podcast. So when I travel, I try to make sure that I can talk to kids from different parts of the world. Another partnership that's more teen-centered is the Youth Media Collaborative in Philadelphia. So this is a group of organizations who have self-selected, so they all believe that they are doing something with media and information literacy and youth media. And those groups have come together. It's an informal sort of networking, sharing, event encouragement. We do some events together. Sometimes it's students getting together and creating media. Sometimes it's productions that they have done separately and we're showing them. There's an event that's coming up in a couple of weeks that's called Youth Set the Stage, where they'll be sharing the work that they do. The growth of the people that are involved in media for children and media literacy in the Philadelphia area has grown quite a bit. In addition to this collaborative, a new partnership started a few months ago that is specifically a professional group of people working in children's media. So it's been very interesting to discover that there are actually many people living in Philadelphia who are, because work is so virtual now, they're working for companies in New York and Los Angeles and different parts of the world. And they are all interested in creating this notion of quality content for children and integrating media and information literacy concepts into the work that they do. Media Inside Out is a partnership that I do with the university. It is a media literacy, media and information literacy television series. It's been on since 2011, and the students are the production crew, and we cover all sorts of topics. You can see that at the top there it says episode 67. So we've done just about 70 episodes, a wide range of issues. And again, when I'm traveling, I try to do an episode in different places. So when I was in Brazil this past year, we did an episode with Alex and his co-host for a show that he does. When I was in Great Britain, did an episode at the University of Salford. And so it's really a resource, and they're all streamable, so they're available to all of you to use in whatever way you would want to be able to use them. A partnership that that actually is a direct result of a prior global MIL conference is my involvement with THESEM, which is the Thessaloniki International Media Summer Academy. I was on a panel with the person who runs the academy when we were in Brazil, whatever year that was. And his name is Nikos Panagotou, and we connected. And at that meeting, we talked about media and information literacy and our mutual interest in that. He was starting this academy, and I became a part of that with him. And so I've been going to, and that in itself is a story of a partnership, because it's bringing in young people from around the world and professors from around the world. And the work is all centered around MIL and journalism, really journalism and media and information literacy, and that together. And there are opportunities really for all of you to get involved in this, and I can share more details about that or the link separately. A couple other projects that have happened this past year. One is with Maryland Public Television, where they are developing their own center on media literacy. And so I've been working in partnership with them to advise them about how to develop that, and ways to partner with the local community. And at my own university, this has been, frankly, I think my integration of MIL at my own university has been the biggest struggle. It's a very large university, and people have their own research agendas. And even though we would all probably say that if I'm in a communication school, clearly everyone is doing MIL, that is not necessarily how everybody defines it. Currently, I'm working on a podcast series. I'm producing a podcast series with the College of Education about educational leadership and incorporating MIL into that. The work that I did, so my Fulbright that was mentioned, briefly just say that it was a program that my particular research and my particular Fulbright was called Global Scholar. And so it was a research agenda of mine, looking at what it means to create quality media content for children and how we integrate MIL into that content. And so my travels took me to Brazil, to the UK, and to Australia, 3 places that are really leaders in MIL and really also in children's media and creating original content for children. And I'm still in the process of pulling some of this together. So I'm looking at research from different parts of the world. Several of you who are on this call with me on the webinar right now were kind enough to provide some information for me about programs that kids are watching, and be able to synthesize some of that information, ask similar questions about who has voice and power, and how is culture communicated? What does it mean to make local content versus global content? And where are those concepts of MIL? So we don't have time to go through all of that, but I'll just leave you with this last piece, which is that for years, at least in the United States, we've referred to the 5 key questions of media literacy. And through the research I've been doing with the Fulbright, and all of the people that I've partnered with around the world about this, I'm really feeling there's some important issues that need to be incorporated.
1 minute.
Thank you, Drissia. Some concepts that really need to be incorporated into our questions of media literacy. And so I'm just going to jump forward. So these are the questions, and I'm actually putting together an infographic that I'm happy to share with everyone. But I'll highlight the very last question. I think the biggest change for me in my thinking about media literacy and media and information literacy in this past year is the need for us to think about it as a component of our health, and that how media makes us feel and the way in which we respond to that, and helping children to understand that when media makes you feel a certain way, and that's not a good way, then you should stop doing that and really be conscious of the mental health aspect of it, not to take responsibility away from the big tech companies, and creators and educators are key, and government regulation, but this notion of personal well-being is also at the core. So I want to encourage everybody to just be a media and information literacy activist, people that are listening to us. I think it's one thing for us to sit here and talk about it. It's another to encourage people to really incorporate it in everything they do. So thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Very impressive. You see, going through all the stages from childhood to higher education. We in UNESCO and in the UNESCO Media Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue University Network, we are paying particular attention to provide adequate media and information literacy content to at different levels of education, and to include not only formal but non-formal and informal education. Importance of media and information literacy for well-being and mental health, and the media information literacy activist. We ask all our members of the audience and we should share this word, be media and information literacy activists, because media information literacy has become a case of life or death. It's very important. Alton, back to you to introduce the next two speakers.
Thank you so much, Professor Chouit, and the last two speakers that intervened. Again, for the audience who is with us, if you're just joining, we're talking about media, cultivating a culture of media and information literacy. And we have heard from very eloquent practitioners and experts on media and information literacy. We will continue on that. Our next speaker is, and I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Alexandre Lavoisier-Sayad. Alexandre, like everyone else who is on this panel, has been a long-standing partner with UNESCO, and if Alexandre permit me to say it, of course, he was involved as a professional involved in educational media, and when media education, as it was called in the past, but I've seen Alexandre grown. I've seen him growing professionally and in his expertise as he was co-chairing the UNESCO, the International Steering Committee for the UNESCO MILID Alliance, if Alexandre will permit me to say that. And I believe that UNESCO has provided a platform for all of us to grow and expand our reach and work in media and information literacy. And in the end, it's greater impact as we link up our efforts. And this is how we started out in the beginning. So Alexandre is a journalist, educator, and writer. He has been working for more than 20 years in the field of media and education. He's currently director of Zeitgeist, Education, Culture, and Media, and serve as co-chair of the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance of the International Steering Committee of the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance. He's also a columnist for Revista Educación, if I got that correctly, that is Spanish. He authored several books and articles in the areas of education, technology, and communication. He also wrote a novel about youth. On television, he hosts a TV show, Aded Media, on Canal Futura. He has lectured in over 15 countries and in 12 foreign universities. So Alexandre, it's a real pleasure to have you. The floor is yours, and we are hoping that you will touch a little bit more, Alexandre, given your background, on what are some of the actions that we can do to really cultivate a culture of media and information literacy. The floor is yours for 7 minutes.
Thanks, Alton. You've been very generous in your presentation. I don't take anything granted for life. So when I see each screen here, I have a personal story which everyone here, and I grow because of it. I grew professionally and I grew personally with all of you and with UNESCO. So I'm telling it from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate, I feel honored to be among all of you, and I like to thank, because I don't think it's granted. I really need to thank for this, for your kindness. And actually, what I bring here for you, for all of you, is that I think I do agree with José Manuel that we need media and information literacy. Of course, each year, each day more, because we are lacking of these competencies for a better world, for a peaceful world. But at the same time, for the last 10 years, I realized that so spread out the concept that I could not imagine that if it was not, probably it was worse than where we are now. I think we moved forward. I'm a little bit optimistic that we moved forward. I'll give an example here. I was in Australia 10 days ago, and there are some kids from Philippines that came to me and said, "Oh, really? You work with media and information literacy?" We were former students of Professor Chouit from PAMEL. Can you believe that link in Australia, that you have a community, a strong community of Filipinos there that were students, were former students of Professor Chouit. So I think we move forward, but I think there's one point, Alton, that you said, and this is what I prepared and I show you, is that I believe that, of course, each country have been globetrotting around. Each country has a local challenge of putting media and information literacy into schools and universities in curriculum. In Brazil, as Esther mentioned, I have advocating with the federal government a lot for this. We have a department now in the federal government of media and information literacy. But what I miss, and I think it's a good step for this, is how we build really a lifelong culture, a culture of media and information literacy, connecting formal, non-formal, and informal education. Because this is a way we don't miss any age or any individual or any race or any citizen around the world. So I will open here my presentation. Just a second. It's going to be really quick. And I will show something that we have been doing here in Zeitgeist, that it's a... Can you see it? Yes.
Yes.
So I believe that we need new learning arrangements to promote MIL, media and information literacy. I know we need to continue keeping up the advocacy on education, formal curriculum and field. We need to continue in the higher education to promote it, research, teaching. And I'm a more, as Alton said, I'm more academic now than I was before. So I feel more connected to the university than ever. And this is really good for me. But what I'm trying to do here is a little bit, I brought Mohan, of course, is a UNESCO icon. Edgar Mohan, that targets complexity, that we live this complexity world, and we need to face it. But I discovered Bruno Latour, which is a French guy that I consider so much, mainly when I research on algorithms and AI, that he considers the non-human actors agency within the network as well. So we need to pay attention in AI algorithms and other objects that are part of our network of communication. That when I mention that we need new learning arrangements, we need to bridge sectors like private sector, universities, schools, libraries, of course, libraries, museums, city spaces, to promote this culture, this learning culture, this media and information literacy learning culture. And Bruno Latour considers the non-human actors very important in this network. And other one that I discovered that I like very much is Chouit, that believes and bets in a really local technology. We need to improve local technologies and do not depend on global and Silicon Valley technology so much. So we can develop our local solutions. So this is a part important of this new arrangement. And at the same time, we have a complex media ecology all around the world. Everything is not like Europe and the US. For example, in Brazil, people get informed about COVID-19 by TV. 75.6% of the audience was informed about COVID-19 through the mass media, the traditional media. So we need to address within these new arrangements that I mentioned, this new bridge. So we need to bridge this new areas to address a complex media ecology. What I mean, TV, film, radio industry, but at the same time, AI, social media, and the internet. So it's a challenge. So what I'm trying to put it in practice here in Zeitgeist is new epistemological and also practical arrangements. How can we rethink and reset MIL for all and lifelong learning processes? How can we merge this as a culture, really as a culture? So I think in this time we need to rethink formal, non-formal, and informal education. I will underline the informal phase education that I think it happens within the city as a platform, the neighborhood, the community as a platform for education. When Esther mentioned the films produced by the natives, we are addressing communities-based production. When she addressed Condzilla, we are addressing communities that came from local to global. Condzilla is the best example. But so how can you improve the community-based MIL and dialogue with the competencies that UNESCO developed? So I think it's very important. One letter that we miss in UNESCO MIL Alliance, but in GAP MIL, the old GAP MIL we had, is the P of partnership. I think this is the most important thing of the UNESCO MIL Alliance is the partnership side. And this is what will make the difference for MIL from now on, my face. So it takes a village to raise a child again and again and again. We need to take the entire village to raise a child, to educate for MIL too. And so for the network and community-based education, I consider this, that each social actor has its role, and we need formal, non-formal, and informal education need to partner. The school is not longer the only temple of knowledge, despite of the fact I'm a teacher too. I'm a professor too.
Time is up. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I would just believe that this new just finishing saying that this new arrangement, it's around the city itself, the communities. We have some inspirations here that I list. I think UNESCO MIL Cities is one of these inspirations, and just some pictures that about what we are doing here. This is a kind of Netflix of interviews that you can download interviews and learn of MIL. Sherry and Jesus Law was here giving interviews. We have workshops, promoting workshops physically and digitally. And so I have more things, but I will stop by here to respect others' time. Thank you very much.
No, thank you so much, Alexandre Lavoisier Syed. You have just heard from inspiring presentation, and we're sorry that you're out of time. Again, we want to respect all the speakers, but you reinforced the importance of the connections across different sectors to create that culture of media and information literacy, what you call through lifelong learning, a lifelong learning culture, which connects very well to the UNESCO 5 Laws of Media and Information Literacy, Law 5, that media and information literacy is not acquired at once. It's a lifelong learning experience So that is one way of building that culture. So thank you so much for that, Alexandre. You also spoke about the importance of the non-human actors, and that's very interesting. For the listeners, and I think it's something to scale up. The non-human actors within networks and partnerships, because we often do not think about these non-human actors and how they augment knowledge or challenge the cooperative process. But the importance of embracing complexity, that media and information literacy in itself is complex. In fact, there is a research theory that is called complexity theory that many academicians have researched on, and it has been applied to media and information literacy as well. But it's an important point that you have made, yet we can make it simple, we can make it simple. And we have been doing that through partnerships and collaboration to simplify the concept of MIL and to keep it focused. And I think the UNESCO Global Standards on Media and Information Literacy Curricular Development Guidelines is one such resource that most of you contributed to. Partners from over 100 countries, experts contributed to that. You also spoke about the importance of local technology, focusing on local technology, and by Yuk we, but again, importantly, that local technology is not only about digital technology, but it's about innovation in the broadest sense of the term. I believe that you're talking about an indigenous knowledge and approaches that we should focus on as well, which is a part of what technology is all about. So thank you for this. We could go on. It was quite interesting that you pointed out that 76.6% of all the population of Brazil got information on COVID from traditional media, from radio and television. No one would believe that, quite frankly. I was quite surprised to hear this. And again, thanks to the partnership with your organization, and UNESCO, Zeitgeist, we have developed the first completely audio-based MOOC on media and information literacy, all right, with some 20 modules, and you'll be hearing more about that. We should be launching that in the coming weeks. So we give back the floor to you, Dr. Chouit, where you will introduce the next speaker. We will alternate like that to respect time. I'm sorry I didn't mention the mill cities. I hope Dr. Chouit can do it, but I'll shut up. Mill cities as a part of the cultures. That's where cultures are formed, in city spaces. Dr. Chouit.
Well, so many important ideas mentioned by Alexander. Mill cities, the complexity, the importance of formal, informal, and non-formal. We will leave this to the discussion. Now we give the floor to our next speaker, Ms. Silvia Bacher. She is an Argentine journalist, educator, and social advocate, holding a master's degree in communication and culture from the University of Buenos Aires. As the representative of Latin America and the Caribbean in UNESCO Global Alliance for Media Information Literacy, she has been instrumental in promoting media literacy in the region. In 2004, Silvia founded Las Otra Voces, an NGO that coordinates national and regional projects focused on media information literacy. Her dedication and contribution to the field have earned her prestigious accolades, including UNESCO Media Information Literacy Award and the first prize in journalism from the University of Buenos Aires for her outstanding work in educational content dissemination. Silvia, we are glad to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. As some of you said, I have a lot of friends here, and I hope that the people I don't know will be my friends from now on. I am proud to be here. And Alessandre, that is a teacher for me, a professor, said local and global. So I invite you to know some points from Latin America and the Caribbean, because I get that this is an intermediate, not local, not global. So let me say that Latin, the region, and MIL, of course, no? Our region is very unequal, absolutely unequal, but also is powerful, diverse. And this diversity is one of our more important points to work at MIL regarding the inclusive point of view. This multicultural opportunity brings me to the first comment that José Manuel said when we said we have in a very dangerous moment. And I agree, we are in a dangerous moment, but also I think that we have in front of a challenge and basically an opportunity to rebuild our societies. And this is what MIL brings to us, this opportunity to think in other ways, to include other voices. Because when I speak about media information literacy, I am talking about rights, human rights, and about citizenship. This is, for me, the core sense of media information literacy. In Latin America are a lot of initiatives regarding our issue. They are promoted by researchers, educators, civil society, politics, and journalists, and on and on and on. But what they say when you ask what's happening in our region with MIL, they say that the initiatives are scattered, disjointed, and that the training is insufficient. So here we have the most important challenge, how to identify all these so different and powerful initiatives, to strengthen them, to visibilize, and to try to articulate, because without network, with different actors, yes, very different actors, it's not possible to make a real change. This is what we are trying to do in this time during this representative I am going on. Is this possible to do without one of the basics of MIL, that is listen? I think it's not. Since, as Sherry said, since the more young people until the old people, but basically youth, because they understand better than us what's happening. We are living in a very strong cultural transformation, not only because the media, because of human and non-human, as Alton said, no? And if we don't understand how this culture is changing, it's very difficult to think MIL that can bring an answer to this. I would like to bring some ideas. No, of course, we need more voices, more debates, more training. But I would like to share with you, because I guess I don't have a lot of time, some initiatives that I think that, because you asked to bring some of them, that are for me very interesting. One of them is one that I was talking with Alton yesterday, an experience from Roomscapes for MIL. What does it mean? 17 universities from all around Argentina meet together, students and professors, and they share a virtual meeting with sub-rooms where each one was challenged to escape from it, with games, with keys, and with, of course, theory, academic issues. But really was, this happened last Friday, like an expert experience for these 17 universities with the MIL support. trying to understand how we can to change our way of understanding the education, also in the university grade. This is one, this roomscape, but also in Latin America, let me say that the public channels, the TAL network that it bring together the public TV channels, are building, and they have the first meeting, the Council of Boys and Girls of Latin America. What does it mean? That these children between 7 and 14 years old from
Sorry to interrupt, 1 minute. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes. Yes. These kids from 7 to 14 years old, they debate and give recommendation for the TV channels in order to produce better contents. And of course, the networks that are working around the journalist network around the region, and the ALAIC, for instance, that is an alliance from researchers from all around the country. I mean, we need to do a lot of things, but a lot of things were built until now. Latin America, let me say, is pioneer in this issue, and I feel proud of say, like Paulo Freire, all of you know him, is one of our lights. And really, we are very empowered to bring a difference, no? Perú, Argentina, El Salvador, Guatemala, Ecuador, Brazil, Cuba, Jamaica, República Dominicana, Mexico, and so on of the world, the countries of my region are working with MIL and showing what they are doing. Now we need to give visibility and articulate the actions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. You raised one very important issue when dealing with the context and the situation in Latin America and the Caribbean, which is that this region is rich in diversity and rich in multiculturality. And this is something to highlight, because we should show, and we do believe that diversity is a richness and not a threat. And this diversity and this multiculturality will lead me to what Alexander said, to ensure that no one is left behind, any group, any age, should all be included. And this is why the UNESCO University Network is titled UNESCO University Network on Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue. We should never forget intercultural dialogue, because this is the basis to solve the problems referred to by José Manuel, and this is the how to find solutions to the what Dr. Esther raised in her about marginalized people and the differences in treating people in color and women. So diversity is a real richness, and we should show this. You refer to media information literacy as a human rights-based media and information literacy. And I would say also human rights-based artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence literacy. These are the cornerstones of UNESCO, to which we are committed to defend and share. Thank you so much. Alton, could you please introduce the next speaker?
Okay, let's just move very rapidly along. The time is very short, and we thank Sylvia Basha again for her presentation. I was particularly intrigued by the Media and Information Literacy Escape Room initiative, and I think it's something that should be documented so that it can be scaled up. Our next speaker, the pleasure again from UNESCO to introduce another longstanding partner, Dr. José Ruben Alagaran, who has been quite instrumental along with a number of other players in the Philippines. UNESCO have been partnering with them for a number of years now. And we're quite pleased to see the growth of media and information literacy across the Philippines and extended in Myanmar. I believe that we have been working together for some 10 years, Dr. Alagaran. He's an associate professor of the College of Communication at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. And he was a media development specialist at UNESCO office in Yangon, Myanmar, some time ago. A lot of interesting work coming out of Myanmar, despite the situation there on media and information literacy as well, where he managed training, research, and advocacy projects. In 2013, he was the lone Filipino expert invited by UNESCO headquarters to Paris, France, to develop and validate MIL indicators. He founded the Philippine Association for Media and Information Literacy in 2018 to sustain the MIL movement. That's an important point, sustaining, creating that culture. In 2019, he was elected as the Asia Pacific Regional Representative to the International Steering Committee of the UNESCO MIL Alliance. He served quite well over the past, I think, 2-3 years. And he was recently conferred the Cornelia Lagaway Award for Communication Excellence for his contribution to media and information literacy for democracy. So again, Dr. José Ruben Alagaran, the floor is yours for 7 minutes. Are you there? Your mic is he still there? Wait a minute. Yes, you're there, but your mic is open. We're not hearing you.
He's asking to leave him for as a last speaker because he's trying to solve the problem with the microphone.
Let's see. We'll see if we can come back to you. So, Dr. Chouit, could you please introduce then Anna, Professor Anna Kozlowska? And if I got that correctly, I'm always afraid to pronounce people's name. Anna, forgive me. But Dr. Chouit, if you can introduce our partner, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Alton. Next speaker is Professor Anna Kozlowska-Barrios. She is the current representative of North America and Europe to the International Steering Committee for the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance. She is an assistant professor, reference and liaison librarian, honors college instructor and fellow at the University of Illinois, Chicago. She has published articles and presented on information and media literacy and is active on many national and international committees. She is pursuing a doctorate in education in global studies, focusing on participatory politics and media and information literacy education for college students with an immigrant background. Anna, we are pleased to have you with us. You have the floor.
Thank you, Drissia. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So good morning for some of you, good afternoon for most of you. So thank you, Drissia, for this amazing introduction. I'm gonna just proceed because I see that we are short with time. So I'll just move on to my presentation. Can you see the slides? Okay, excellent. So based on the topic of the presentation, I will talk about the contributions to the Alliance and the MILID intercultural dialogue. And I will speak from the perspective, the person who is currently MIL Alliance representative for North America and Europe, but also some of more local initiative and also my personal research, but I will try to be really, really brief. So first of all, I wanted to say about our chapter. So we already have appointed this chapter. So I wanted to give a shout out to Julia Cookie from the Ofcom PFS Threads from Catholic University of Louvain, Marit Jacola from who is a director of Nordicom University of Gothenburg, Estrella Luna Munoz from Nova University Lisbon, Diana Maliszewski, Association for Media Literacy and Media Smarts Canada, Julian McDougall, Bournemouth University, Eva Reina from ERICA, Stephen Weiber, IFLA, Maya Klassen, Baltic Engagement Center for Combating Information Disorders. And we also have two ex officios, Tessa Joles from the Center for Media Literacy and Irene Andriolopoulos from Eliamep, Greece. So I wanted to just thank you for those of you who are part of the chapter for volunteering. Now, we only met because this is a new chapter, so we only met once. However, we already identified some of the priorities. So the first one will be fostering collaborations and partnerships, because we are the chapter that encompass two very active regions that will be North America and Europe. Obviously, it's impossible to have everyone as a member. However, we would like to actually expand those collaborations as much as possible and to include other organizations from the region. So not to have this kind of closed door policy, but actually to be open and inclusive. So Sherry, I'm talking to you right now. I'm winking at you, that we would love to actually have more and more people from the region. And the another thing is also creating a social media presence. So I also wanted to mention about some of the tasks groups that are in the MIL Alliance. And for 2 years, I was the chair for I was the co-chair for the MIL Alliance Disinformation and Privacy Group. Currently, it's Michael Hoshman. So what we did, we identified priorities, and we also co-authored a journal article Beyond the Headlines. Let me minimize this screen. Okay. Beyond the Headlines, Media and Information Literacy, MIL in Times of Conflict. So that would be like one of those examples of research collaborations that we did, as part of being of this group. The article has not been published yet. We submitted that for publication. We are waiting for a positive outcome. So once it's going to be out, I will definitely let you know. However, I just wanted to present this as an example of how of kind of tangible outcome that comes from working in that working groups. So I'm not going to go into details in terms of that, because I think every single speaker was talking about the opportunities for co-teaching, guest lecture, presentations. So obviously I'm also one of the promoters of those type of collaborations, and many of you who are also on this panel been guest speakers in my classes, for which I'm profoundly grateful. And also collaborators when it comes to research. But the one thing I wanted to bring up, because I think everything has been already said, that there is definitely a great value in those collaborations. But one thing I did observe, not only MIL community, but overall, that we should take an honest and intentional approach to those collaborations, presentations, co-teaching opportunities, and things like that. What do I mean by that is that we should not be chasing the latest trend or, using this as a kind of ego boost. We are experts in a very important topic, and I think all of us, and I'm speaking this also to myself, should take an honest look to what really our expertise is in, and to contribute just in that, because this is where really where we can make a tangible change. I also wanted to mention about some of my research that I'm doing for the media. So speaking of the area of expertise, pedagogies, critical pedagogies, that's my area of expertise. So I'm currently working on a project, the Media Information Literacy for Children of Immigrants. And I recruited a group of students who designed a course, a college level course on media and information literacy that right now it's part of the general requirements at the University of Illinois, Chicago. And why is it important? Well, so I'm not gonna be repeating what other speakers said, that we are living, in the times where a lot of conflicts has been going on. I think we have not mentioned, or maybe I'll repeat again, also global warming, the climate changes, all of those things are going to impact that the people we are teaching the media literacy are not going to be only from the country that we are in. They are all going to be from all different different places, and I think that's something we should be definitely aware of. I definitely know that in the United States, the children of immigrants are the fastest growing population group. So that's something to keep in mind. We also know that they are very often marginalized in a formal education system. We also do know that their experiences are different because they experience, for example, liminality or code switching. So liminality being the feeling of being neither from one context nor to another, or in terms of the code switching is like kind of leaving behind, so switching between the environments. And that also goes with the theory of upward mobility, that for many children of immigrants, in order to succeed in life, in order to take the benefits from the mainstream society, they need to leave their family and culture behind. So what I'm working on is creating curriculums, inclusive curriculums that actually are appealing to their identity rather than marginalize them. And in terms of the study context, so the University of Illinois in Chicago, where I am from, we are non-majority minority campus. As you can see, we are very, very diverse. We really look like a United Nations Hall in terms of our diversity, and also 1 in 3 of our students speak at home language other than English. So that's why this kind of research is so important in this particular setting. So for my study, I posed 3 research questions, although the one that is really important to you, that would be the second one, which is what are college students with immigrant backgrounds perspective of MIL and participatory politics. I have a lot of findings. I'll be happy to, of course, this research is going to be published at some point. However, I have like 4 lessons for the educators of this.
Please go to the conclusion, please.
Yes, this is conclusion of this of those type of communities. So the first one, that the content, the MIL content that we are teaching should pertain to their identity. We should give them opportunity for self-reflection and reflection on their position in society, in media, and how it plays out. Also opportunities for peer teaching and learning, and allowing our student agency. So this course was in 100% designed by them, but I would say this is a really important takeout, that we might be thinking what is the best for our students, but really we should leave a space and time for them to tell us what is best for them. So thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you very much, Anna, for this insightful presentation. Impressive number of experts in the regional committee of the region you represent. Glad to see that the 2 ex officio, Tessa Jules and Irene Andriopoulos. You referred also to the work of working groups. Yes, we have working groups in the Media Information Literacy Alliance, which is a very important component. And in your PhD research, you focus on a different MLI pedagogy for children of immigrants, and this is very important. We should take into consideration the context, the local context, the different cultures, and come up with different media information literacy pedagogies to embrace and include all within their perspectives and their cultures. And as we said, multiculturalism and diversity are a richness and not a threat. Back to you, Alton. We hope that José Alagaran, Dr. Alagaran, can give his presentation now.
Okay, thank you so much again, Dr. Chouit, and to Professor Anna there for that input. We are way over time, at least coming towards the end, and we thank all the the participants who are still connected with us, some 70 persons are still connected. So obviously the discussion is holding them, is interesting to them. We encourage you to please put your statements, questions, because we're hoping to have 10-15 minutes of discussion to wrap up and hear from you, the participants, answer some of your question and observations. So you have the question and answer window where you can type in your questions, and we see a few persons have started to do that. Now, it seemed to us that Dr. Alagaran is unable to fix his audio issue. We had suggested to him possibly to do something unconventional, to execute a sort of a non-mime. We know that a mime is some sort of a theatrical technique, where persons present actions and characters and emotions without words. So you were asking him to use just the words on the screen, show the words on the screen, but no audio, which would be an interesting approach, just very rapidly. But let's see if he'll be able to do that at the end. We are going to move to the penultimate speaker, last but not least, Dr. Olnefesi Suraj. As I said, we'll hopefully come back to Dr. Algaran at the end to do something creative for us. Professor Suraj is from the Department of Mass Communication in the University of Lagos, another very committed and long partner of UNESCO. In fact, Nigeria is the home of the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance, formerly the Global Alliance for Partnerships on Media and Information Literacy, where it was launched in 2013 at the first Global Forum for Partnerships on MILID. So we're very happy to have you here with us, Dr. Suraj, and for the cooperation from Nigeria, as for the cooperation from all of the countries that are represented here. He's heading and leading the UNESCO University. What am I saying here? Let me just clarify this. So he's a member of the UNESCO Network on Media and Information Literacy and Intercultural Dialogue. Is one of the well-known thought leader on issues around internet governance, media development, freedom of expression, cyber safety, and knowledge management. Dr. Suraj is also a consultant to many multilateral international organizations. He holds a master's and doctoral PhD, master's and doctoral degrees in information science and postgraduate diploma degree in mass communication, with several publications to his credit. So listen, Professor Suraj, the floor is yours, 7 minutes, no more. If you can do it in 5, it would be perfect.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope you can hear me very well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's nice being here. I've listened to everybody spoke, and I think it's been a very interesting time here. Let me quickly apologize to my friend from Temple University, Sherry. One of his research he got across to me, but I couldn't deliver. I'm very sorry, Sherry, for not being able to partake in that global network research that you instituted some time ago. Now, quickly, because of our time, I would say my own, our own intervention here and experience when it comes to MIL building partnership for culture is that it's one of intervention, problem solving. And I will say this way, that the converging is more of converging interest and diverging interest. And in between, you have a complementary interest, a common interest, a national interest, and then a regional interest. That's the way I'll summarize all our interventions when it comes to MIL here in Nigeria. And then just like somebody, the presenter from this country, Jamaica, Dr. forgotten the name now, he said their own intervention has been intentional, but actually our own has been selective but inclusive. Selective in the sense that we've narrowed down on the menace on the social media. As you know very, very well, social media is 1.0, social media has gone. We are now on Web 1.0, Web 2.0, we're now on Web 3.0. But the issue that we have done, let me just say, like I say, common interest, national interest, something interesting. So I see that our own intervention have been problem solving and has been of more of partnership between academics, the civil organizations, and the practitioners. And I will just give you an example to illustrate this partnership. For instance, and like I say, it's inclusive. For instance, when it comes to MIL in the school system, secondary school system, colleges, what you have seen is that you have seen the issue of the drug issue, you have seen the issue of extremism. And so what we have done so far was that, that's why I say convergence and converging interests and diverging interests.
Is it me? I'm not hearing. Okay, so it seemed like there is a connection issue there with Dr. Suraj. Maybe you need to disconnect and reconnect, Dr. Suraj. I don't know if you're hearing us. But we are going to try that creative approach if Dr. Chouit agrees, where Dr. Alagaran can just flip through his slides so that we will exercise that part of our brain, which these days we don't want to do anymore. At least young people don't want to read. UNESCO like calling it the lost pearl of great price.
Sorry, my network just off back now. So what we did is that all those schools around that session for extremism. So what we do is that we come out with a social media campaign. All those schools, all those universities around that place, and some university network, and then the NGOs working in that round. So, and the essence is to come out with social media for society well-being. That is the theme. And so what we do is a kind of counter narratives, put up narratives against extremisms, against cyber. We've been able to demystify some of the content in this region. Then another partnership we have had is about school children who are into drug. Like I told you, our intervention has been more of problem solving. So there's an organization called, there's a body called National Drug Law Enforcement Agents. They also feel that most of these menace of drug has been issued from social media, because these youths, they see that has been the media. Unlike Alexandra, that's in Brazil, conventional media is about 70%. Ours here is that we're having more people, these children, these youth, because Nigerian demographics show that the youth are more 70%. So they are into social media. Social media is their hub. And so the drug enforcement agents see that there's a lot of narratives, a lot of videos that shows that are a kind of bringing this youth to be into drugs, drug peddling, drug smoking, all this gangsterism. So what we have done in partnership with the academics and some NGO with them is that we've designed a social media narratives, also the narrative that can counter these ways and these things, these feelings that if you are not into drug, you cannot practice as a musician. If you're not into drug, you cannot do well in life, and that it is a means of economic means. So we have tried to put up a narrative that drugs is not the way to go, and that drug can destroy ambition, can destroy destiny. Now, quickly enough, jumping from that, in the university network, what we have done is that we are forming alliance. Nigeria, the national network is growing bigger every day. And then we are now also going into Africa region. The other Africa region are coming up. We are forming a platform where we can articulate issues that have to do with MIL in each country. And then I also say that one of the partnership that we have gone into, we have what they call Media Information Literacy Coalition Network. It's a network that we form. It's a network that has to Ministry of Information, they are there. Ministry of Education in Nigeria, they are there. Civil organizations, they are there. The Broadcasting Association Nigeria, they are there. The MILID network is there. And then what we do every year is that we'll come out with conferences, we'll come out with interventions, so that we have seen that the whole issue about society problem is a multidimensional issues and need to be looked at from dimensional, from different angles. So we plan programs together, and then this has snowballed into the MIL Institute. I think Hattie know much about this very well. The government of Nigeria is trying to put up one. This is different from the one that UNITWIN is doing, but the MIL, the Nigerian government has taken it up. And then the borderline here is all about fake news,
Dr.
fake
Suraj,
narratives.
time is up.
Yeah.
Please conclude.
Okay, so let me end by saying that for best practices. So what I would say is that empathy is a key here. Empathy, as we go to Web 3.0, I think we should develop the culture of empathy and multicultural dialogue, because the web is somehow cultural neutral. Let me put it that way. Thank you so much for hearing me out.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And you ended on a good note. In the interest of time, there's a lot I could say to summarize your presentation, but the time is short, and we want to move to wrap up and see if there are some questions from the partners. But we echo the point that you ended on, Professor Shiraz, on empathy and multicultural dialogue. And I think that's an important aspect of cultivating a culture of media and information literacy to help individuals, peoples around the world and groups to understand how their emotional part of their brain interacts with their critical part of their brain, how their emotional existence interacts with their more logical existence. So I think it's an important aspect of it, and hopefully there will be time for discussion. So thank you again for intervention. So let's, if Dr. Chouit agrees, we're going to see from, not hear from, but see from Dr. Alagaran, who will just flip us through his presentation, not very long, just probably 2 minutes or so, and so that we can again exercise our culture of reading and re-stimulate our culture of reading. Please go ahead. Don't go so fast. Huh? We want to scan, but give us at least 30 seconds on a slide before you go. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for that. Yes, that was quite an experience for me. I don't know about the others, but it was refreshing. And it was actually relaxing me, a little bit of silence, a moment of calm, and such deep-rooted actions and impactful actions. Over to you, Dr. Chouit, to take it away. Thank you, Dr. Lagaran, for that. You're muted, Dr. Chouit. You're still muted. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, quite an interesting experience. Yes, to use our reading skills with the presentation of Dr. Alagaran. Impressive. It's unfortunate that we do not have time for discussion. I would just thank you all, dear colleagues and media information literacy partners, for this insightful, highly insightful discussion. We will for sure organize other international events on building partnerships to expand the reach of media and information literacy, adopting a whole of society approach to make media information literacy accessible and empowering to all. Sincere thanks to Alton, to UNESCO for permanent support and collaboration. A heartfelt thank to the Assistant Director General of UNESCO, Dr. Taufik Jelassi, for addressing this panel with the Global Media and Information Literacy Week video message. I hope to see you in coming events. Some of them will be in person. Back to you, Alton, for concluding remarks.
Okay, thank you so much again, Dr. Chouit. I'll try to do it in 1 minute and then give back the floor to our esteemed presenters, experts, and practitioners to give us 10-second vox pops as to what they want to close with. All right, 10 seconds. So I'll take only maybe about 30 seconds to leave with you from a UNESCO perspective on how we can create this, cultivate this culture of media and information literacy through 4 simple words. We heard that MIL is complex, but I think some theoretician famously said that all complex things can be expressed in simple words. I forgot who said that. And the single words that we want to give from UNESCO is the change of mindset. We need to change people's mindset. We need initiatives that change their mindset about how they engage with information. To have initiatives that transform people. So yes, their minds have been changed. They realize the importance of media and information literacy, but how can MIL transform them as a person, as family, as groups, as society, in such a way where it changes their action? All right, so change of mindset. The second word, transformation. The third word is perseverance, where we need to push against the odds, the challenges, the distractions, the demands of the new technology and generative AI, and to focus on what is essential for our existence. And then finally, preservation, that once we have persons who have changed their mindsets, they have been transformed, they're persevering with media and information literacy, how do we keep them engage in that long life learning culture of media and information literacy? And this is the preservation where we need, again, the type of actions that is connected to preserving those who have been transformed. So with that, we give the floor back over to you, all right, for 10-second vox pop as to what you want to leave the audience with. We will end with Dr. José Alagaran, who probably can put up a slide or some word that he wants to end with, or a statement. but can we start from the beginning, José, and then we follow the order of the speakers. Just 10 seconds, very quickly, Vox Pop, that you want to leave the audience with, and that's my final word. So if there's any more word, it's not going to be coming from me, maybe from Dr. Chouit or someone else.
Dr. José Manuel, please, you are muted.
Okay, I would like to thank all your family, especially UNESCO, Alton, and Drissia. And I'm sure that mental health, the change, happiness, and rights today depend of media and information literacy, and media and information literacy depends of our cooperation. Thanks for a new beginning.
I would just like to leave a couple of words that I think summarize my understanding of everything I heard. Partnership, exchange, research, and continuous evaluation.
Professor Abdul Hamid.
Okay, thank you. So let's us join our forces to promote men in the world, and I need your support to organize.
Okay, please mute yourself. Dr. Paulette Kerr.
Thank you so much. Yes, I maintain that we have to be intentional to address MIL wherever the needs are, so that we're always in constant mode of change to achieve the transformation that we're looking for. Because if we stick to what we have already done, we might not be meeting some of the areas. So intentionality towards change. Yeah.
Sherry Hop-Calver. The floor is yours.
I'm sorry. Two things. One is that I think if we see the importance of media and information literacy and don't encourage others to see it as the most important issue of our time, we are doing a disservice to the field. This has gone from being just an issue that maybe we thought was important to being absolutely vital. I think the point about it being a mental health issue, a civic issue, a human rights issue, these are all pivotal, and we have to make sure everybody understands that. And the second piece is just that it needs to start with kids. And if kids are whatever age they're young enough to use media, they're young enough to have a conversation with about MIL.
Thank you. Alexandre, je veux aussi, Sayed.
Yes, I do think that we need to articulate formal, non-formal, and informal education as a way or a path to develop a culture of lifelong learning on media and information literacy. And it's only possible if we bridge traditional and non-traditional actors in education, working together for education as a whole. So it means media, schools, and other actors of the society that sometimes we don't connect so much with education, but they need to be together on this entrepreneurship, on this entrepreneur.
Thank you. Sylvia Bashar.
The first, thank you for all of you, because it was a real inspiring meeting. I said that when I speak with people, and I guess that in all around the world happen the same, they said that initiatives are disjointed, are scattered, and the training is insufficient. So we have 3 points here to articulate, to give visibility about what is happening, because a lot of things are happening. Most of you said we need to visualize and strengthen and articulate them to bring all what you said together. I guess these are the three most important points. And thank you again.
Thank you. Dr. Alagaran, I think that, well, he cannot. Media and information literacy is the wave of the future. Let us all work together to promote and sustain it. Partnerships are crucial in this regard. Thank you. Anna Kozoka.
One of the problems of going last is that so many great ideas were shared that I don't know what to add, but thank you first of all for this invitation, and it was amazing to see you all today. And perhaps, you know, what I could live with is that the MIL, it's not like a hammer, and we shouldn't be treating everything like it's a nail. Okay, that there is a lot of exactly, it's complex, and we have a goal to simplify it, but we also have a goal of paying attention to those complexities so they can work, so that basically any theory, practice, or research can work for everyone. Okay, thank you.
Dr. Suraj?
Yeah, I would say that we should evolve a web culture that is based on mutual partnership, citizen education, that emphasize empathy as a lifelong learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I will say that I highlight a whole of society approach, taking into consideration local realities and local contexts and local cultures. And we have to find ways and means to fight extremism and to fight hate and to build up a peaceful world. This is our mission for the future. Thank you very much for all your participation. Bye-bye.